Going on, gang? It's your boy Robbie, and we back for another react. So this one is gonna be coming from Anton Daniels. This is gonna be a reaction to a reaction. Apparently, this dude, he lost his job, or rather, he was laid off after 18 months. Now, I want to get into this before we get into the video. So someone left a comment on my Roof Chris video saying that reaction channels are some of the lowest quality content, or talent rather. So my response to that was, if you go back and you look at my videos prior to Christmas Eve, they was all vlogs, all of them. Well, not all of them, but most of them. And guess what? The algorithm didn't give a damn about that. Since I switched to reactions, yo, this channel been getting steady growth. I'm steady getting followers, supporters, and stuff like that. So reactions it is. I don't know what to tell you. This isn't to say that I'm gonna abandon doing sneaker videos and doing vlogs and stuff like that, but this is what's moving right now. And to say that reaction channels is low talent, low quality, is almost like you saying that the Home Shoppers Network didn't deserve a spot on cable TV. There are people out there that will actually watch a product rotate on the table with a number for them to call and giving them a description of the product. There are people that sit there and watch that. Would you call that low quality content? Or better yet, Jay Leno, Arsenio Hall, David Letterman, you know what I'm saying, Jimmy Fallon, these guys that have talk shows where they sit at a desk and they ask questions to their guests or whatever. So listen, it ain't for you, it ain't for you. You know what I'm saying? But enough rambling. We're going to get into this video. Make sure you like, sub up, leave your comments down below. Let's get to the video.
I lost my job about 1.5 years ago. I spent 25 years climbing the corporate ladder and spent the past decade before losing my job at the VP level. And I thought I had achieved so much. I was an executive leader, helping run companies, helping make, not myself, but making rich people a lot richer. I got really good at my job. And when I lost it, I just thought, this is no big deal. I've lost.
How wasn't you making yourself richer? I thought you was moving up the executive ladder. That also, in most instances, come with a better compensation, obviously base salary, equity in the company. I don't know what company you worked for. Stock options, obviously the entire company, depending on where you work, they also have a ESPP. So it's a lot of different ways in which you can get rich. And of course, there's some personal stuff in there, I'm sure, where lifestyle, maybe family, all of that other stuff. But when people say that sometimes and they say, oh man, I'm making rich people richer, who was going to hire you? That's the whole idea. We'll get there.
Before, like, I've been through acquisitions and mergers and restructurings and all that fun stuff. And I started applying and 1.5 years later, I'm well over 2,000 applications and no offers. I've declared bankruptcy. My car's being
I ain't gonna lie. Now I know Anton made the face like, no way, that's cap, but it's really tough out here, you know what I'm saying, to find a job. I mean, I put in an application. I only put in like one, but they've yet to get back to me. You know what I'm saying? One of my relatives, she went through the same thing, you know, when she was applying for a job when she had first moved here. I mean, she was going crazy with the applications and just could not get a call back. And this was in 2013, mind you. You know what I'm saying? When we were just coming out of the 2008 recession, but there was still jobs, though. There was jobs popping up here and there, but it was just like crazy. So
possessed. From the outside looking in, my life is in complete shambles, mainly because of the lack of any income. I mean, I've gotten to a point where I can't even get a job at a Home Depot.
All right, let's slow down for a second. Been there. I've definitely I've never filed for bankruptcy, but I've been there to where I lost everything. I got everything evicted and so on and so forth. But it's so many different things, and I'm trying to be sensitive to his whole situation because, he does not have a job, and it wasn't because he got fired. It was probably because he got laid off. But there's just a lot of different things that stand out to me. Like, okay, 1.5 years without a job, which is the equivalent of what, 18 months? and 2,000 applications, I think at max you should probably be sending like 2 to 3 a day, because you got to take looking for a job as a job. And so if you're not tailoring your resume to every single job you are sending it to, you're going to get thrown in the trash bin. You're not going to get past maybe the early AI indicators of things that they're looking for. You're not going to get past the regular human, the gatekeeper that ultimately pass it through, for evaluation so that you can get to the interview process.
And as he's saying this, say to yourself, does any of this make sense? That this is what it takes in order for you to get a job so that you can make money? Because like we always say, none of us asked to be here. You know, some of us might have been here by accident. What does Bob Ross always say? You know, we're happy accidents or whatever. We didn't ask to be here. So you're just trying to do what you were told that you needed to do, which is to get a job, to support yourself. But these are the dynamics that you got to go through in order just to get a job. You got to go through a robot, then you got to go through a human in order for me to exist. I'm telling you, man, being an adult, don't get me wrong, it has its perks, but it's like, man, what you have to just put yourself through, especially nowadays, you know what I'm saying? And for the most part, you know, if you know Anton, you know, a lot of times he will reference the 2008 housing crisis because that was like a benchmark in his journey as far as being laid off and stuff like that. So he'll always champion that moment because for him, I think there's no moment that gets any more drastic than that. But this is something different that we're dealing with nowadays.
All of that stuff, right? But my point that I'm making is that how do you send 2,000 applications? 2,000? Are y'all out here doing 2,000 and you can't find a job? I see, man, I know you got to do like the small stuff before you get back to the, whatever stuff, because you just need something to bridge the gap. But are y'all seriously telling me that y'all are only applying online and it's 2,000 applications? Man, I know for a fact it was way worse in 2008.
What I tell
And
y'all,
I was definitely able to get an overnight stocking job at Home Depot, because a lot of places, especially places that need help, they're not just searching online. They may pull your application offline or online, and that's only if you go in there and say, "Hey, I was checking it out, and I seen y'all needed some help or whatever," or you're proactive with that. Then they'll go in and say, "Oh yeah, you just apply online." And then you like, well, I've already applied online, and they say, "Oh, really?" And then they'll go in and they'll pull your application out of
I mean, yeah, if this was maybe 5 years ago or further back, but things are different now. And see, I don't know if he has people on the ground that are actually still working because he's a successful YouTuber. So he's not in the job market anymore. He even made mentions that he quit his corporate job for good. But are you out here on the ground for real? You know what I mean? And then if you take a look at this dude here, he looks like he looks to be in his 40s or something like that. Don't know if he goes to the gym or works out because too much of his time is being occupied by a job. So to tell him to go out here and do something that's labor intensive and put all that strain on his body, some people out here are about one sprain away from being down and being immobile. You feel me? So it's like, what are we doing, man?
pull your resume out of the pool. But if y'all telling me y'all can't find nothing, you can't find a corner store, you might have to get 2, 3, 4 jobs before you get back into the space that you was in or whatever.
And this is because we are all living somebody else's idea. Somebody came up with the idea that, you know what, it makes sense for a human being to tailor their life to working 4 jobs. And when you compare it to your grandparents and on back, they had one job. And granted, they might not have been rich, but they could afford their basics. You can't even afford the basics now, the way things are. You need both the male and the female of the house to both be working. You know what I mean? And I'm sure y'all see these videos all across the internet, but this is what it's come to. It's not like the planet itself did a complete 180 and like everything is just supercharged and it's like, okay, everything got to go up. No, y'all are charging triple the price for a house that's been sitting on this plot of land for decades. You feel me? You want to triple the price for it. Make it make sense. You know what I mean? It doesn't make sense.
Ever. Ain't no corner store, ain't no gas station, ain't no, you can't get a job at Home Depot. You know, a lot of times people will also like apply to a couple of different things that, you know, oh, and I applied to Home Depot and I applied to Lowe's, and then they'll use it as a talking point for saying that, you know, there's nothing available. And again, I'm not talking specifically about him. I'm using the conversations that he's having um, to illustrate a point, right? And maybe it is this bad out there. And
It
maybe
is.
I just really don't know because
Yeah, man. I mean, respectfully, but you're out of touch. You know what I'm saying? You're in a different hemisphere as far as finances. You know what I'm saying? You make a decent amount of money doing YouTube, and then you have all your other business ventures. You got your Patreon, all of that. So, yeah. But for the rest of us in the world that are trying to come up or whatever, yeah, it's tough out here, man. It's really, really tough. You know what I mean? Um, just to exist. You know what I mean? It's almost like if you were a baby in your mom's and you were conscious and you had the ability to see what the hell you had to endure, you'd probably be like, nah, I'm good, man. I'm good. I'm good on all this.
after '08, when I went broke, I made up in my mind that I would never only depend on one source of income in order for me to survive. You know what I'm saying? So that whole time from
But here's the thing about that. And I know I keep stopping the video. I'm going to let it play through after this. But the thing about what he just said, you'll never depend on one income, but you depend on something. You depend on YouTube. You depend on your rental properties. You're depending on something. You're depending on your stock portfolio. Well, your stocks only do good if the business does good. How does the business do good? Consumers pay for the product. Netflix, you have to have a large number of people paying for subscription fees. You feel me? Microsoft, you have to have people buying computers, buying PCs so that they can do what I'm doing. You know what I mean? What's another one? NVIDIA, they make graphics cards. You got to have people that can afford to buy the product. Right now, if y'all go look at RAM prices for a PC are out of control. You know, if you didn't buy you a gaming PC or build one already, you're going to have a hell of a time buying one because PCs are getting expensive now. So
'08 all the way up until now, I've been cultivating businesses and making sure that I do whatever it is that I do to create
that
new
depend on
sources of
people
income. And
for it to make money.
even the income that I get, I don't increase my lifestyle a whole lot until it's only a really, really small percentage of my income so that I'm investing. And I bought a lot of real estate and all of this other stuff, right? I own a lot of property at this point. And again, my point is just that I'm just always wondering. Like just a year ago, I was asking for, and I was on a Million in the Morning show, and I said, "Hey man, I got this job out here. Whatever, I need some help. It don't even have to be in person. It can be remote or whatever." And it was for a position, you know, a position that was directly tied to one of my companies. And people looked at me like I was crazy. What you paying? $100,000 a year? That's it? Oh heck no! And they turned their nose up at me and all of that stuff. Like they was too good at it. Obviously, I filled the position eventually, but it took me months to be able to get suitable applicant and a person that actually wanted to work, for that type of money. Because like I'm not a major corporation. I run a tight ship here a bit, ladies and gentlemen. But all I'm saying is that it seems that as though when I talk to my friends, I know guys that got a lot of businesses, I know guys that own gas stations, they always need help, always need decent help. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know. Let's hear the rest of what he has to say.
Or even driving a school bus at this point. I mean, I would shovel crap if it meant that I could support my family. But even those types of jobs are no one's calling me back. I'm either overqualified or.
You got to be aggressive. You got to call them back. You got to call them the week after that, and then call them the week after that and ask them if they filled the position. You got to be aggressive like a passport bro over in Colombia trying to get some box. You got to be aggressive.
You have to be aggressive to another human being that pretty much has the power to flip the switch. You have to be aggressive to a human. You got to go and demand that another human being give you gainful employment so that you can live on this planet. Make that make sense. Let me tell you something. What I'm honestly waiting to see is when Caucasian people finally like charge back at their own kind, because I have to call it like I see it. My people, and I don't like to always, play the race politics, but I got to call it like I see it. My people, we're just basically sitting back waiting for the fireworks. You feel me? Like they say, oh, we all need to stop paying taxes and we need to just go exempt and we just need to stop going to work one day. My people aren't necessarily going to do that for the most part. What we, I think, are waiting on is when all of the rest of America, because we only make up about 13% of the population here. So it's the other 70 or what is it, 87% of Americans that we're waiting to see not go to work. It's like, oh, y'all doing it? Okay, well, we're going to do it too, because we've seen this song and dance before. You know what I mean? It's like, how bold are you? I truly think that the people that are controlling this, they're willing to have bloodshed. Like they're willing and ready to die behind keeping this idea alive. The idea of paying taxes and paying rent and paying for water and food and all this other stuff. They're willing to die behind this because they believe in it and they love it so much. And because they've had the masses on this hamster's wheel for so long. You know what I mean? They're not going to go down without no fight. You know what I mean?
You know what I'm saying? You got to be aggressive, like a middle-aged liberal white man going to visit Thailand and running into ladyboys. I mean, you got to be aggressive. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes you don't let it come to you. Sometimes you got to fly over to where they at.
It's just like I'm running out of options. I don't know what the hell to do.
Got to get in the gym, my boy, recalibrate, figure it out, get your mind right, and then that's going to give you some clarity on what you need to do.
I know that my TikTok viewership isn't going to have all the answers for me. And I know I'm not alone in this. I know there's lots of people who have struggled with the job market lately, and I work in I've worked in tech, so I'm watching AI.
Listen, man, it's bad when you have somebody with someone, the likes of someone like this, who they would say is privileged and has all the opportunity to be something or be the best they can be. It's bad when they're complaining. It's bad.
I completely transform the way software is written, the way it's managed, the way that
he's
it's
worked in
built.
tech.
And I've spent a good portion of the past year and a half learning it and becoming an expert in it. And I have become an expert in it to a certain degree. I'm able to build things myself, that would have previously taken me and a team of 20 people and a few $1 million a year and a half to build. And I built it myself in a few months. And that's really freaking impressive. But at the same time, if my resume is not getting in front of the right people, if my portfolio isn't getting in front of the right people, it's just dead end after dead end after dead end. And I'm watching my bank account slowly dwindle away to zero. And watching my wife kill herself working 2 jobs.
No, that's crazy. Your wife working 2 jobs. Hey, man, now listen, what I will say is you might have to get out here and do Uber, man. You might have to do Lyft, do Uber Eats, do DoorDash, do something, and just continue to push your, TikTok page or something. Like, you got to do something. You can't just sit there and just keep applying for jobs. You know what I'm saying? You might have to get out here in the rideshare world. And I know they're saying that that's about to be up. The clock is ticking with that, because now they got robots that'll deliver your DoorDash food. I don't know if y'all seen that video, but it's crazy out here. But you got to do something, bro.
How is she able to get to?
I don't know. I didn't think this video through.
Yeah,
before
that I don't understand.
I'm just sitting in the parking lot of my daughter's soccer program, just feeling like a failure.
How does the wife is able to get 2 jobs?
But I don't know.
I,
We would need more context with that as far as what kind of job she has, because it might not be something that's in corporate. I mean, she might actually be working for someone. She might be doing live ops. Who knows what she's doing? Um, but maybe for him, being a man, his idea of work is probably something along the lines of doing something tech related or something that is maybe labor intensive, hooking up cable or something like that. That's just when you're a man, you want to feel like you've earned a day's pay. You feel me? Like some would probably say what I do, oh, all you doing is talking on a camera and gossiping, but make no mistake, my nigga, these hands get dirty. I know how to change brakes. I know how to change oil. You feel me? I know how to put in faucets. I know how to put up light fixtures. I'm good with these hands. It's not just me gossiping. So that might be a thing for him too. Just being a man.
I don't know. I feel him. On one hand, I'm very sympathetic to him because I know it's probably hard as hell to have to deal with that and to endure through that. And I'm pretty sure that life is going to get better because nothing lasts forever. You don't suffer for the rest of your life unless you go to
I'm gonna let it
prison
play before I say
for
what I gotta
life.
say.
And you go for messing with a little kid, and then the prisoners find out, and then they have to take care of that. But then you'll have to suffer for the rest of your life. But in most instances, for people that are out and about and that's free,
Oh,
you
that
can
was a
overcome
shot.
that. Stay strong, big dog. I always like to link back to the content creator to give credit where credit is due. Make
All right, that's gonna be the end of the video. I ain't gonna wait for all that. But yeah, that was a shot at Corey Holcomb. If y'all ain't picked up on that, that's crazy. But what I was gonna say to that is when he says that nothing lasts forever, yeah, nothing might not last forever, but history repeats itself over and over and over again. And it seems like every 5 to 10 years, they always put this country through a catastrophic event every single time. You feel me? And it just does something to just disrupt the normal quality of life. When 9/11 happened, after that, we had to have Homeland Security and all of this, and we had to have our bags checked and all that stuff. And you can only bring a certain, amount of fluid ounces on a plane. Then 2008 came, the housing market crashed, and then guess what? Now they put all of this red tape in the way of you being able to get a house. Then here comes COVID. And then what did that do? That totally threw off the social economics of just people and how we communicate. Not that we wasn't already communicating through social media, but it got even worse after COVID. COVID just 10x'd everything. Everything went up in cost. So, and now we in a war. It's just like, y'all not tired of this shit already? It's just crazy. But I'm gonna make sure I link this video in case y'all want to go check out some more of Anton videos. Make sure y'all go support him. If you made it this far into this video, like I be telling y'all, it means a lot that y'all be watching my videos. I appreciate y'all. I be putting a lot into these videos, man. We up to 400 subs, man. We almost at that 500. You know what I'm saying? We almost halfway there. So, yeah, man, I appreciate y'all for real. Y'all let me know down in the comments what y'all think about this situation, this brother here, or this guy here, I should say, being in this situation. And should he be, maybe going out here doing some Lyft, Uber, whatever you got to do. Your wife got 2 jobs. That ain't looking too good for you. You know what I'm saying? I mean, she's a real one. She a G for sticking it through. You know what I mean? But yeah, y'all let me know down in the comments what y'all think, all right? And with all that being said, it's your boy Robbie, and until the next video, we out of here.